So, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate arrives on Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox Series X and S and Xbox PC as Play Anywhere on January the 22nd. It seems like this game landing on the fall has been pushed to January. I guess it was probably scheduled for a December release. They probably couldn't make it. It's interesting to note that I don't know if the Xbox version is getting a physical version, but the Nintendo Switch version is, and it comes with a playable Magic of the Gathering, but it comes with a deck of Magic of the Gathering cards, well, a pack of it that's pretty damn sweet if you ask me, so hopefully whoever's picking it up will actually get some really cool stuff out of it. It's not going to be charged at full price either, so it's definitely attainable for you. Then it also go on to say that's not all. The remake Trilogy will also be making its way to Switch 2, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox PC. So, Final Fantasy VII, Integrate, Rebirth, and whatever the third one is called will be Play Anywhere. You buy it on one, you can play it on your PC and your Xbox, so that is where I'll be getting my versions and continuing my playthrough. Now, it's also going to be available on PS5, Steam, and Epic Game Store. Now, the one thing that people are jumping on the bandwagon with this is the fact that this is going to be day and date on Xbox. There is no, unfortunately, despite my greatest efforts, there's no indication here that this is going to be day and date. If it was going to be simultaneous release, I do believe that they would have said something. I feel like Sony probably still has a contract in there, at least for 2-3 months or 3-4 months, like they did with Rebirth. I think Rebirth was like a 4-month timed exclusive, and then the other versions got released. Now, what could actually happen is, instead of, people waiting a year before they get the game, these games could be built in tandem, and could be why the third game is actually now pretty much on a slight delay, and it's taking a little longer because all versions of that game could be being built simultaneously. However, the PlayStation 5 version will release first and have that 3-4 months exclusivity before the rest of the versions come out 3-4 months later. I mean, that would be the best of a worst case scenario, rather than having to wait a long time before these games actually land on the Xbox platform. But I hope that, one would hope that these are going to be simultaneous release. You would hope that Square Enix would have learned from past transgressions and would basically just wants this game to sell even more. However, contracts are contracts, and Sony is very protective of their contracts, as we saw with what they did to Abe's World, where they pretty much almost sent the company into liquidation in order to protect their contract, because that's what they do. But I'm seeing a lot of people getting hyped and really kind of going on the offensive, saying that this is confirmed. I'm telling you from now, this is not confirmed to be day and date. Nothing here is telling you that it's going to be day and date. Now, there is a lot of information here, and it's confirmed that we are going to get the third installment and the whole trilogy. I mean, the whole trilogy was always going to land on Xbox anyway. If they're releasing the first game, they're going to release Rebirth, and they're going to release the third one. There'd be no point in releasing just the first one. Timeline is going to be interesting for Rebirth. If this one is landing in January, will they release it in a few months later, maybe during the summer for the Rebirth? Like, how long before? Or are they going to plan on releasing Rebirth alongside Part 3? And then once Part 3 becomes kind of past this timed exclusivity period, then we'll get that released at that point in time on the Xbox and Nintendo Switch 2. I don't know, this seems really interesting to me, just seeing some of the comments here. Now put the game on the actual cartridge, or at least put all that can fit in there. I mean, it makes no difference really if the full game isn't there. At that point, it just doesn't matter. You still can't boot the game. But it already is on Steam and Epic. Or you are saying that Final Fantasy Part 3 releases simultaneously and all that. They're never going to answer that question. And at the end of the day, what they're saying here is Part 3 is going to be available on all platforms. And the whole trilogy will be there. Switch version locked in. Now you can play the remake trilogy in many ways. The one good thing about this, though, the one great thing about this, is that on the current Xbox, you'll be able to play Final Fantasy 1-6 Pixel Remaster you'll be able to play 7 remake, 7 original, and the rest of the trilogy of 7. You'll be able to play 8 and remaster. You'll be able to play 9, 10, 12, 13 trilogy, 14, and 15, as well as 16. Now 11 obviously isn't playable, but hey, as of the next generation Xbox, which will be able to run Windows, you will also be able to play 11. The next generation Xbox essentially will be able to play all Final Fantasy games from 1 to 16, and that's awesome. All under one roof. How does that sound? But folks, I just wanted to make this video so you know, I told you guys ages ago that Final Fantasy VII Remake was coming to Xbox. I was correct, and I made this statement before anyone else did. I made it, everyone was kind of being hopeful. I was the one that broke it first, that said, this is coming to Xbox. You can go and find the video, it's ages ago. I made that video and I said, it's coming. A lot of people didn't believe me. Well, the ones in the comments anyway. Listen to what I'm saying now. Don't overhype yourself. It would be great if this was released simultaneously. It really depends when the 3rd installment is coming out and what Sony's contract with them is. But I do believe that Sony is going to enforce their contract. I think Rebirth probably sold enough to keep that contract viable. And at the end of the day, I'm seeing a lot of people trolling and stuff. Don't do it, because those receipts are going to come back and haunt you, is all I'm saying. Ideal scenario, it will release simultaneously on all platforms. But if it doesn't, this isn't a Square Enix decision. This is the contract that they made years ago when Final Fantasy Remake was originally in the works and being made. So this is like, you know, probably 10 years in the making. So with that, I think that's a good place to end the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you believe that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is going to release day and date on Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X, Xbox PC, PlayStation 5, Steam, Epic Games? Do you think it's going to release on everything simultaneously? Or do you believe that Sony is probably holding on to that contract that provides them with timed exclusivity for a few months, and they will definitely enforce that? I mean, if I was Sony and I'm seeing this, Sony will definitely want to enforce this. This is going to feed into their hardware sales and basically try and get people more locked into their ecosystem, even though everything they're doing kind of begs away from there. But they seem to constantly going back and forth at the moment, unable to decide what exactly they want to do. I mean, just look at their live service situation. Concord failed, cancel everything, and then let's do live service again, but then cancel everything, but then we're still going to do live service. So it really feels like within Sony HQ, a lot of things are just kind of topsy-turvy in turmoil at the moment. They don't really know what they're doing. But I think when it comes to this, they definitely know what they want and what they can enforce. And if they can, this won't be day and date on Switch and the Xbox consoles. Maybe on the Xbox PC. I can possibly see that, but that's about as far as it's going to go. But folks, that's the video. I just wanted to make this quick one because I'm seeing a lot of people jumping for joy, getting into massive hype, and I just don't think... I mean, you probably can, but just be tempered that it may not release. And if it doesn't, this has nothing to do with Square Enix at this point. It's just a contract that probably existed. That's it. Alright folks, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.